So this is going to be a really quick video going over how you can increase the scale of patterns in Photoshop. So right here is a pattern. And if you've ever tried to resize patterns by just dragging the box and increasing the size that way, you might have noticed that the actual pattern itself, the size of the pattern itself, maintains the same scale regardless of how big or small you draw the box. So the fix for this is pretty easy to do. And by the way, if you're not familiar where to get patterns from in Illustrator, they're actually in the swatches window. So just very quickly to go over that, you go to Window up in the top menu, and from Window in the top menu, you go to Swatches, which is sort of near the bottom. It should be in alphabetical order. So you just want to make sure your swatches window is open and selected in order to get swatches. And right here on my screen, this is my swatches window that I'm moving around. From the swatches window, there's a hamburger menu, which looks like 4 lines in the upper right-hand corner, that if you click that, it opens up some different options. And then from those options, you can go to Open Swatch Library. And from Open Swatch Library, which by the way, there's tons of color swatch libraries in here. But if you go to Patterns, there's basic graphics, so dots, lines, and textures, which I have opened up. There's some decorative patterns as well as some nature-based patterns. So as soon as you open one of these up, like if I click on the dots one, it opens up this window right here with some different dot patterns. So if I have this box highlighted right here and I click on one of these patterns, it'll go ahead and apply it. But I'm gonna go back to this texture one here so we can show how to increase the scale. So right now this is super small. So to enlarge the pattern itself, all you have to do is click on the thing that has the pattern inside of it and then right click it and then go to transform. So once again, just make sure that you have the object selected that has the pattern inside of it that you want to increase. Right click it, go to transform, and from the transform menu, you want to go to scale. And here's the scale dialog box that pops up. You might want to click on this little preview button so you can see what you're doing in real time. But the important thing here to increase the scale of the pattern is under options. You don't want to scale strokes and effects, so uncheck that box. Make sure scale corners is also unchecked. You want to uncheck transform objects, and you want to make sure transform patterns is the only thing checked. Because when you transform just the patterns, the scale of those patterns, that's what you're going to increase. And then you have 2 options. So I'm going to move this over to the side here so you can see what happens in real time. If I put 200% in uniform, and uniform means both horizontally and vertically will be transformed at the same time, and then I click in one of these other boxes, you can see it went ahead and applied that transformation. And if I increase the box here, I can't do it right now because this window's open, but the pattern would stay at this exact same size. So if I change this to 300% instead of 200 and just click out of it so it applies, you can see that the pattern then got even larger. I'm going to go back to uniform though and make it back to 100% and then click in here just so you can see it's small again. So if you want to go to non-uniform, so it just scales it either horizontally or vertically, you can go ahead and do that too. So let's make the vertical something really big like 300%. And then I'll click in horizontal so it applies that. So as you can tell, it went ahead and stretched this pattern vertically, but not horizontally. So if I made the horizontal 300%, so they're both the same, then it is an even pattern once again. But that's it for this tutorial. Pretty quick and easy to do that, but it's something that's super useful if you've ever used a pattern and it wasn't just quite the right size. So once again, just to cap that off, I'll hit OK so this applies. If I make this window bigger or smaller, as you can see, this pattern is now stuck at that larger size. And then if you ever want to change it again, just right click on that box when it's selected, go to transform and then scale, making sure that only transform patterns is checked, because right here it has transform objects also checked. It did that for whatever reason, and it made this pattern gigantic over my entire screen. So I'll go ahead and uncheck that. So now it's once again just changing this transform to the pattern that was inside the box. But as you'll notice, it went ahead and applied it 300% larger than the already larger pattern we had. So it'll always apply a new scale to whatever the last previous state was, however big it was when you initially clicked on that box. But that's it for this tutorial. If you found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button to let me know. Also feel free to leave a comment, and in comments you can of course ask questions or ask other videos or topics that you'd like to see me cover in the future. And if you liked this video and you want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe. I do my very best to keep creating new content just like this for designers. Thank you so much for watching.